Steph Hodge with Board Game Geek here with Artem from Lifestyle Board Games, and today we get to look at Storytailors. So I got that right?
Yes,
Storytailors.
yes.
Are we
Storytailors is the first
tailoring a
game that
story?
well, yeah, essentially. It's not a storytelling game. It is a story-tailoring game, and you'll see why in just a moment. It is a kids game, although it doesn't mean that adults will not enjoy it, because it has a
Sure.
very clever mechanic, which I would love to demonstrate to you. And if possible, I would also like to participate, although obviously I'm not there, but I will play my part to the best of my ability. So
Yeah.
I will
Tell
explain
us a
really
little bit
quickly how.
about, yeah, tell us a little bit how you came up with this idea, like where this came from and what's it about before we dive into it.
Well, the game is actually by two very prominent game designers from France. It's Wilfred and Marie Faure, and they have a lot of great games. And this is probably one of my favorites. I mean, that came from them specifically. Um, they they gave a number of interviews, I believe, where they disclose how exactly they came up with this idea. I can tell you from our side, when we have seen this for the first time, when the prototype was in our office, it was an immediate hit. So we had no doubts about this one. From the very beginning, we loved it. The only challenge that we had, basically, is to do it justice in terms of illustrations and the content. Because the mechanics is awesome. We just needed to make it right in terms of illustrations and the fairy tales that are in there.
Oh, cool. I really love the art. Just looking at the book and the box cover, everything looks really nice. So I think you did a good job bringing that forward.
The result is good, yes. If I may say so myself, I wasn't the one
Yeah.
drawing the pictures, but I mean, it's cool.
And what are we doing in this game?
So essentially, you have a book that comes with the game, shown there at the top of the screen. And this book is actually, you could say it's a game board. Well, not exactly, but it's a prominent one of the main game pieces. In the game, I'm sorry, there are several stories which are already written, so you don't make them up, but they're already there.
Ah.
Except these stories, they are not yet populated with characters. And this is exactly what you're going to do in this game. You are going to be reading the story, and then the players are the ones that populate the story with cute animal characters. And there are actually tons of those characters in the game. The deck, as you can probably see there, is very thick. And there are 9 stories as well. Because every time you play, the stories, they will remain the same, of course, although there are some stories with different endings, but I will not get too much into that. Because every time you play, the characters will be different. It's essentially every time you play, you will come up with a slightly different story, so it doesn't lose its appeal over time.
Cool.
And yeah, so this book, starting out as an empty vessel, as you play, you will add pages of the story and characters to this book, and once you finish, you will have like a complete story, which is really exciting, especially for kids. And well, of course, there is a game itself, and there is a scoring mechanism and things like that. But depending on the age of players, and I speak from experience, we did some tests and I played it myself with different people. Depending on the age of the players you play with, different things will be interesting for them. Some of them are competitive and they like the scoring and play like by the rules. But for very young kids, for example, there are different modes in this game that allow them to play as well. And I'll come back to that at the end of the presentation. I will mention a couple of things that made this game so successful for us,
Nice.
in some markets at least. It's not out in the US yet.
Okay. And you'll get to that at the end also, because we want to know We will want to know
Right.
when that comes available.
Sure. So
but
now,
let's
if you
talk a
don't
little bit
mind,
about what we're let's talk about what we're doing here and how we can score points. You said it's a game, so I want to know how we can create our characters and get points at the same time.
yes, sure. I would like to, if Nikki and Lincoln could like clear out the book for the start of the game, and also I see that you already have 5 cards randomly distributed to every player. That is great. So let's imagine the 3 of us actually play, and I will be orange, for example. Okay. And
Okay.
to follow along, if you would kindly please pick story number 3, it should be. It's called The Bravest Knight, and it's in the deck of stories. Do you have this one? Okay, that is perfect. So unfortunately, I'm not sure that I can hear what's happening at the table. Is that possible?
Do you want? Can you see the card? Do you want to read this?
Yeah, I see a card. I see the card, and I will read what it says. We'll just play maybe a couple of pages.
Okay.
So this one is called. Oh, now I can hear. That's perfect. This one is called The Bravest Knight. Once upon a time, when castles were inhabited by knights and kings and not by tour guides, in a faraway castle there lived a valiant knight. He feared no one and was eager for great deeds in the name of good. Now, as you can see, a part of this text is highlighted in a bold print, the description of the character. Now, what we have to do, every player, as you can see, has 5 cards with animals. And every player will now choose one of the animals that they think fits the description of this character the best. For example, which animal from your 5 cards is the best valiant knight? That is essentially the question. Now, you don't show it to anyone just yet. You just pick one card and place it face down in the center of the table. And then, well, let's imagine I also play with you, but I'm like a completely random guy. Just, I'm picking the top card from the deck, for example, because we don't know what it is, and it will still be fun. So if you could add my if it was my card, like from the top from the top of the deck.
Yep. He got your orange one.
Yeah,
Nikki
just
picked
something
it up.
random. Okay, and now there should be 3 cards. So one from Nikki, one from Lincoln, and one from me.
Yep.
And you just shuffle them up. All right, thank you. And now you can reveal them, and you place them underneath the scoring track. And those are like the small recesses there. Yes, these are the places for the cards. And as you can see, every sector has a small symbol depicted on it, and that's used for voting.
Wow.
Now, yeah, let's take a moment and appreciate how actually, which one of them will be the best valiant knight? I don't know. We come to the voting now, and you actually hide your voting tokens so that you don't accidentally affect the thinking of other players. What you have to do is you have to choose one of those characters that you think is the best valiant knight. The only restriction that you have is that you cannot choose your own. You have to choose someone else's.
Yeah, dang it.
That was going to be my question.
I have my vote.
Okay. Now, I may accidentally break the game here because I don't know which one is mine. That's the problem. But, it's all in good fun. We'll just... this one. Okay. All right. Then my vote is absolutely okay.
How do you know? How do you know
So,
that's his?
Because I'm a cheater.
No, but how do you know what mine is? Oh, you looked at his card when you saw it?
I had to place it.
Ah, okay.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay. So, everyone's ready, right? Everyone has their votes. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll show you mine. I actually voted for the ostrich, so it's a.
All right.
I voted for
Ooh.
the snowflake.
Snowflake. That's
Right,
not Snowflake.
right now, to make it more like visually clear, let's place the voting tokens onto the cards, and you can place mine onto the ostrich.
And mine on. It's not a snowflake, isn't it? A snowflake?
Yeah.
That is a snowflake. Yes. Looks like it.
Oh,
It
okay.
yeah, it's.
Yeah.
Oh, you need yours.
I cannot see this
Sorry.
very clearly, but yeah,
I don't know if I get
I
a
do
vote,
believe
but
this
if I
is-
do, I would have voted for the elephant.
Thank you.
Okay. So we actually have 3 votes, right? So the blue one
Yep.
is just an extra.
Yep. Yep.
It's me.
All right. So here's the situation. The ostrich actually won the popular vote and obviously becomes the valiant knight. Let's handle the scoring first. Now, the scoring is simple in a way that if you get a vote, if your card got a vote, it will give you 1 point. So
Yay.
so far it's very simple. So elephant, whose card is that?
Who are you?
The elephant was Nikki's card.
Yeah.
Nikki's card. So Nikki, she gets 1 point,
Blue. Or green. Yeah, green.
and she's green,
Yep.
right? So
Yep. There we go.
you move to 1, and ostrich is obviously Lincoln's, right?
Yeah, man. He's pretty valiant.
Pink.
Okay, yeah. So you get 2 points, but that's not the end.
All right.
It's a kids game, right? So
Yep.
there are lots of points to be given out, and there
Ah.
are almost no situations where you are like too far apart on the scoring track because you don't know, you don't want to, you don't necessarily want this situation in a kids game. So the ostrich won, but we voted for the winner. I mean, Nikki and I, we voted for the winning card, and we get 1 point each for that.
Hmm.
So Nikki will be tied with Lincoln for the first place at 2 points, and I will be at 1 point. And this is all so good, and we'll keep playing like that for the rest of the story. And there are several pages in the story, but this is not the part that kids love the most. The most fun part for kids is that the character they have like suggested gets to become a character in the story. And so you are inserting right now the card into the book. And this is the way that you are sort of completing or creating this book with the story. And if you flip the page, I would like to show you one very small detail, but it's very neat and I like it a lot. So if you would insert the story card in there as well and flip the page. Now, on the left side of the page spread right now, there is a small picture of an ostrich, but it's also followed by a reminder or a description of who it actually is. So you can always see
That's so
that
nice.
this was a valiant knight, right?
I love that.
Yeah, and as you go further, as you flip those pages, this will remain. So they will all be stacked up like that, and you will always see who the characters were and what were their descriptions or names, you could say. And this is a very neat thing, small detail, but very cool.
No, I love that. It's perfect.
Yeah, so this is just a trial round, just 1 round. Obviously, the story would go further, and there are several pages in it, and you would have a lot more characters than that. So there are several rounds in 1 game. But what I wanted to mention, as I said in the beginning, what I wanted to mention is what in my mind made this game so successful for us, and especially in France. There we had a very good release and very positive feedback. One of the groups of people from whom we got the most positive feedback was teachers, actually, and not only like school teachers, but kindergarten teachers as well, because they use it in different ways, and we have already seen a lot of materials that they have produced themselves, starting from house rules and to some, some actual physical materials that they have made to make this game a little bit different and play it in a way that we didn't even imagine, perhaps. Because it's a very flexible game. It's not just a game, it's a tool, you could even say. Just a
Yeah.
simple example. if you
Oh, it's
play with a
perfect.
very young children, you can forgo the scoring altogether, and there's a way to play it in which kids just choose the animals and they discuss why they have chosen this animal, why it's the best fit, and they are trying to complete the story this way, and they not necessarily care a lot about the scoring. So this is just one of the ways to play it, and there are lots of those ways. So yeah, this is Storytailors. As I said, it has been released in France. There are several more localizations either already completed or underway, including German, Polish, Spanish, several more. There is no set release date in the US for now. There are plans to release it either towards the end of this year or somewhere within the first half of next year. We do publish news, of course, at our website and Facebook page, so you can follow that and find out when it is going to be available in English and in the United States as well.
Yeah, no, it all seems really fantastic and really accessible. I mean, I would have loved this growing up as a kid, so I can see tons of families enjoying this and telling the stories and having new characters. I love this. This is so, and it's beautiful. So I congratulate you on Storytailors. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for Artem for showing.